My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California. Notice: intellectual property theft is particularly egregious and equally unlawful where the sole inventor and creator of the intellectual property is the targeted individual. Erica Lorraine Spencer, subject to the unconstitutional and inhumane government system of gang stalking, otherwise referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices, because of which the intellectual property created by the targeted individual, who is, in fact, Erica Lorraine Spencer, as the intellectual property also proves, serves to establish via evidence and expose the existence of criminal surveillance and thus an inherent threat posed by the U.S. government and the civilian population sharing engagement in the unlawful system. Such evidence that includes all of the content created by Erica Lorraine Spencer, images, videos, audio, etc., belongs solely and entirely to Erica Lorraine Spencer only and is necessarily published online in order to protect her life, safety, and liberty as the targeted individual, who is also the intellectual property owner, no less protected from theft procured through targeting by a public entity. Theft of any intellectual property belonging to Erica Lorraine Spencer, which is necessarily committed while she, being both creator and inventor, remains oppressed by the public entity via criminal surveillance, is a criminal and inhumane means of infringement under all circumstances and not protected nor enforceable pursuant to any invalid or fraudulent acts of copyright, trademarks, patents, etc., including as it pertains to any ideas associated with or generated from the intellectual property or the intellectual property owner, Erica Lorraine Spencer, whether creative, business, or otherwise, nor does the intellectual property owner consent to any such means of infringement and theft. Erica Lorraine Spencer here. The following is an audio version of video evidence that is captured for purposes of mass distribution, which is why I am capturing it and sharing it on the podcast for evidentiary purposes and also to reveal the wealth of documentation that extends beyond what it is that I document on podcasts. Much of the video and images will be published onto the YouTube channel, the P.O.C, and it is also shared on the Google Drive. Again, this is for purposes of revealing what I remain subject to, which is federal group stalking and monitoring. It is a demonic system of state surveillance that the government is practicing in concert with the people of the state, and it should be known and well understood that for the government to engage in federal group stalking and monitoring, this is a crime that is committed with a criminal purpose to threaten the life of an American citizen. This is to conspire to murder and or permanently kidnap an American citizen while engaging in a perpetual sex offense in concert with the people of the state. Compared to the sex offender, that's a demon going out of there. You see that light? That's a sex offense. 06896V3. That, first of all, that's not even the sun, and that's not sunlight. okay? And it's swiping all across. That's a monitoring demon. That's a co-conspirator of murder. That's a federal RICO case. And that's a mom and pop company that's not going to survive criminal and civil prosecution. That is also a co-defendant that's stalking in the path. They're monitoring together. And they are doing so. This is where the fake moon, at nightfall, when it was dark, that was a fake moon, fake sun on my opposite side. And Pepe's is engaging in what is lying in wait conduct, where an entity is gang stalking and is doing so with regard to activity creation. This is the entity that is in a position to engage in that attack, because that's what that is. This is psychological torture. I'm going to prosecute this little broke down company for. The perpetual sex offense, I'm going to prosecute that broke down company for. And also the impunity. That's getting to enhancement to charges and damages. They're not going to exist when I'm done prosecuting. They are on Holt Boulevard. They are neighboring to 815 West Holt Boulevard, the Superior Grocer that the entity is stalking with the Ontario Police Department with into the afternoon, like I document on Wednesdays when I do not go to the Upland Public Library, by the way. And this fake sun is over me at this same village center. Pepe's is a hostile co-conspirator of murder. So while the entity monitors your evidence, then you document acts of retaliation. Acts of retaliation will have the people of the state placed in prison and in mental institutions. All right, that's a demon that's operating that vehicle. That vehicle is representing a corrupt gang stalking company, which are identified under the law as terrorists. In the United States, terrorists will be prosecuted under business names. They're engaging in the government's pattern of conduct, maintaining surveillance via these businesses, such as what Pepe's is demonstrating. I've been molested with impossible light by more than just Pepe's. They are violent sex offenders while they do so, and that's also why businesses will be federally prosecuted, and they will be held civilly liable for damages relevant to the ongoing psychological harm and the unlawful sexually violent nature of molesting while you're stalking and while you are monitoring in furtherance of murder, doing so as demonic, mentally ill terrorists, predators, okay? That's what's relevant with regard to the impossible light activity. The entity is doing so while this third party is maintaining presence in the path. The entity is doing so. This is also where they're maintaining means of surrounding, okay? These are demons. These are all puppets. These are demons that are subservient, the cowards that keep their back to you when they know that they're being documented. These are demons that are engaging in stalking, okay? Flat out stalking. These are demons, okay? And how do you... Okay, this is, and when I leave, so does the fake sun. When I leave, the population follows. That's literally the definition of stalking. And you will be found to be stalking within the malicious system, the beast system, where the government is stalking you with a whole demonic environment. And the mentally ill only, the demon possessed exclusively, are engaging in this. And that is the entire state of California. Okay, this is P.O.C. Pepe's towing is going to be federally prosecuted, and there's a body of evidence of corrupt companies, gang stalking, and engaging in the sex offense of molestation with impossible light. Where the entity is engaging in this, it is indistinguishable with regard to every other type of defendant that's gang stalking. Okay, it is currently 7 a.m. That's relevant to the fact of and ongoing documentation of this inexplicable violence is the entity that is monitoring the evidence. So that's ongoing relevant conduct. It's just like the entity stalking by helicopter when I'm referring to the obsessed stalker, the vagina monitor, Lupe, instead of the Stater brothers. And then I'm subject to the entity flying in circles over me by helicopter for that little vagina monitor. She's so important that everybody's going to prison. How about that? You want to stalk me by helicopter while I document a predator? Everyone else is going to federal prison. So that level of importance is going to be flipped with regard to that malice. You target me for a terrorist that's serving the system. Everyone else is going to federal prison for that. Okay? Everyone else that's in relevant position targeting with Lupe, who was not an individual. Lupe is the entity. Okay, the entity is engaging in this conduct while they are keeping evidence against itself under surveillance, which is the government's unlawful intrusion in the federal case to prosecute it for conspiring murder as a domestic terrorist. It is unlawful, and it is actually going to serve justice for it. Justice is going to be provided for it. This is P.O.C. at the Ontario Village Shopping Center. All right, this is Amazon Prime Air. This is P.O.C. This over the El Pollo Loco. This is the Habit Restaurant. This is the Fake Sun. This is 7:11 a.m. Really mentally ill, but it shows the level of corruption of the city of Ontario. Paul Leon, by this very footage, is being put out of office. I'm going to federally prosecute him for conspiring murder. The entities engaged in this conduct, and this is the entity that is in this same video This same location that they're hovering over, Southwest Airlines, is stalking on that side of the street under the fake sun over a business, and there's no takeoff. They're not taking off from that location. There's no airport over there. The entity's engaging in what is stalking in the path with Lupe. They're using the business, the pickup groceries, as a guise of stalking in the path. The P.O.C. is underway while they are picking up the groceries that they've ordered, and then they come to the venue to engage in a transaction where they're engaging in federal group stalking and monitoring, and Amazon Prime is sharing in that. Also, Amazon Prime, that's gang stalking me, Delta Airlines, United Airlines, Southwest Airlines, et cetera, that are at this same Ontario Village shopping center is going to serve to prosecute in the same way that the Ontario Police Department, all those kidnappers and stalkers are going to serve to prosecute each other. They are doing so under a fake sun. Their mental illness is also going to be relevant to civil damages of these companies that are co-conspirators of murder. And what you are looking at is beyond bizarre. This is psychotic, and this is getting to Bezos, who has a company that's engaging in terrorism of American citizens. That lets you know who this person serves. There's no coincidence there, and you're also not ignorant about the heights of corruption here, the heights of psychotic behaviors, while it's centered around a company that is serving products and providing services, and that level of corruption. Okay, this is P.O.C. It is currently where you're looking at the video of companies engaging in the sex offense of molestation with impossible light, that demonic activity. It's directly tailored to that. Along this same street at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, that's how you know Amazon Prime, these companies are persons that are going to be prosecuted, is engaging in stalking, where the Ontario International Airport is not landing over this same sky space right here. They're engaging in what is stalking in the path at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, which is 5 hours from now. The entities engaging this, again, with the City of Ontario. These are the demons that are surrounded with evidence. They're psychotic. And they, on the one hand, engage in this obvious conduct, and there are no prospects, and they have no purpose. They couldn't if they wanted to. They cannot argue with me. All they're doing is stalking, and they do so obviously. And that's a poor method for what's going to result in what is mental institutions and prison. Including, I want to be clear, terrorist leaders are identified by the heads of these companies that are gang stalking, and you're profiting from it. Not only be prepared for a RICO, be prepared for a criminal case for which you are going to prison. And mental illness is put at the forefront at the outset regarding the psychosis that is inherent to gang stalking as a company. Like you're some sort of genius. You're not a genius, you're a psychopath. Okay? This is an entity that has enriched itself, and these are the puppets of Satan. They are all being identified, and they're being prosecuted. Okay, they're being taken out like dominoes, and it's not a game. This is P.O.C. There's a body of evidence to put Amazon Prime, the demon operating that plane, the city that it's occurring in, the politician that's at the head of office, which is Paul Leon. All of them are being dealt with while I document the very clear-cut P.O.C. It is currently 7:15 a.m. All right, this is a federal RICO case against Starbucks. You've seen the impossible light activity, the light show that the demon-possessed maintain inside of that cafe. They're engaging in what is driving an impossible light on the inside here. The Ontario police are here gang stalking, engaging in what is the clear identification of a threat that the federal government's going to prosecute them for. Impossible light while 6XIB789 monitoring together. They're not strangers, and this is a business sharing and surveillance. 89841M1. This is the light activity outside. It's not even the sun, and this is not sunlight, and it's also not going to create the light activity that you also know is occurring on the inside of Starbucks while the Ontario police are exhibiting demon possession to the public. That is a threat to the union, and the entity that's engaging in surveillance, this beast system, is underway while they're engaging in that. The demons are inside of the building monitoring with the people of the state. This is P.O.C. License 42440P3 7CNF010 5SEV157. The same street, by the way. The fake sun is over me here. It's 7:29 a.m. This is where the demons of the Ontario police are stalking on the roads and the highways, and doing so in the middle of the afternoon while I'm crossing path with this same venue in the middle of the afternoon during the 1 p.m. hour. And the entity is stalking on the roads and the highways like they're stalking now inside of Starbucks. What is monitoring? They're here stalking, making a purchase from Starbucks is the federal RICO case. They're here stalking, impossible light, monitoring with communication devices in furtherance of murder. All their license plates are on the record. They're all going to prison. Okay, this is a stalker. They're on this same street as I captured on video, and the federal government is going to put every single last one of them in prison. This is Mike Lorenz's federal prosecution also for the pattern of conduct by that agency. And he is responsible for the criminal activity that the city of Ontario is engaging in. Just like they call themselves being responsible for any reduction in the murder rates, which is information that they're engineering in the first place. The criminals are them, the entity. They're engaging in surveillance. They make up this information, okay, on a Excel sheet. Crossing paths with the police, license 7TTM399. 9MQX178. They're under the fake sun that's still here at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. This is stalking on the roads and highways, and the Ontario police do the same thing. 9LLY157. The Ontario police are doing the same thing. They're right here in relevant position. These are vagina monitors. They go into the bathroom stalking with the agency as well. They're with the psychopaths, Amazon Prime, Southwest stalking, dipping with planes. 9XDG921, where the fake sun is present. Mental illness is no longer closeted. Stalking by a population, mentally ill behavior, is no longer secret, okay? 8UMF545, 8SPD011. This is P.O.C. It is impossible. It is impossible and it is foolish to engage in stalking in the face of the federal government. But that's what the mentally ill, the demon-possessed have done, hence the P.O.C., which is for the public, for the world to know what's going on in California, and it is demon possession. The criminalization of a satanic means of targeting people, which is criminal surveillance, and the entire agency that's engaged in criminal surveillance, calling themselves, these demons are going under the deceptive misnomer of being identified as a police department. They're not a police department. They're demon possessed. They're engaged in the sex offense of molesting my body while they're crossing paths, stalking under the fake sun. And this evidence is going to be used to prosecute every single last one of them. Everyone that I'm encountering, including them under this 7 a.m. fake sun, where I'm here, for example, at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, they're engaging in surveillance and they're stalking, they're specifically targeting me in concert with the people of the state who engage in that. Also, they're doing so with knowledge, keeping it under surveillance, and that's a very mentally deranged stalker. That's a very unlawful, high threat while they are doing so, stalking with guns and badges and uniforms, using helicopters and vehicles, exercising authority under the law, representing themselves as having authority under the law. The Constitution does not provide authority to stalkers. That's not what the executive branch is. They're not engaging in law enforcement, and they're going to prison for that. This is how they get away with murder. That's literally why they joined the agency. That's why the U.S. government's maintaining surveillance and has not told the American people. This is the beast system. License 9NLG711. Bring security 53241X3. Bring security is a stalker. Okay, and it's not just right here. Remember, big picture. 5 hours from now, 6, 7, 8 hours from now, the fake sun is still in the same city over the same person. That is myself. That means what's going on at the Ontario Town Square is evidence to put the same vagina monitors in prison. Okay? What Starbucks is doing is a prosecution of every business in the state of California. This is the pattern of conduct. Every word, every syllable coming out of your mouth, I'm going to prosecute you with it. So while you like to act like you're on private property, and while you want to act like you're perplexed and asking me what I'm doing, that's going to be analyzed as a threat from an unstable psychopath who is obsessively stalking me with a whole agency that is sharing in a supernatural pattern of conduct that has failed in stealing my inheritance, falsely depicting my character when you are in fact the one that is entirely deranged. You're so deranged that now you're stalking in front of everyone in ways in which people have never even heard of. Oh, but they know it's true because they're watching it unfold on the internet. This is P.O.C. It is currently 7:34 a.m. at San Antonio and Holt Boulevard in Ontario, California, where the fake sun sets. And the evidence shows that this is exactly where I also have the fake sun setting. Where the fake sun rises and sets. I'm also in Los Angeles capturing the fake sun through my living room window in the morning, which I routinely use to prosecute the city of Ontario. They're going to prison. That's the long and short of it. And so are the people of the state. In the same way you're looking at a criminal cooperation right here, this is what they do when they're engaging in traffic stops together. The people of the state are going to prison, just like Jay Hernandez is, and this is the fake son. Superior Grocer's right over there. He's going to prison. While his super smart partners engage in molestation with a possible light, can't help themselves but engage in what is ongoing conspicuous surveillance, Hernandez is going to prison. And that's just one of the ways all this evidence is going to be used to put all those predators, all those terrorists, all those vagina monitors of the Ontario police and the people of the state in prison. Because that's where you're going. P.O.C. That's Casada. She's gang stalking under the 9 a.m. fake sun with Edwards. These are demons that know that their show of bravado has all been a bunch of hot air. And what do psychopaths do that wear these uniforms in particular with this toxic culture that they maintain? That I'm never wrong, I'm always right. And even if I am wrong, I'm going to keep conducting myself as though I'm right and you're going to do what I say. No, you're going to prison. That's absurdity. But this is the entity that's engaging in this conduct as though they're unfazed. Those are the demons that are embarrassing themselves with this mentally ill behavior right here. And this is here, this same exact scene.
in the middle of the afternoon. Okay, remember all the times in 2021, 2022, Starbucks is engaged in harassment with the people. All right, well, they're trying to break in and monitor my vagina, and they're harassing because they're hostile, because they are stalkers, and the entities engaged in the same thing. Criminal summoning, fake sun, middle of the afternoon, same location. And Delta Airlines, that's stalking, flying over my head, is not landing. Like these psychopaths are feigning a landing from the same airport. The airport hasn't moved. Southwest Airlines, that's a demon that's mentally ill stalking with the Ontario Police Department and third-party license plate. 80616 George 2. The entities engaged in this is surrounding a body of evidence for years. Even when Derek Williams is the demon that's over the vagina monitors of the Ontario Police, he is being federally prosecuted. It's not just Mike Lorenz. Okay, this is a system that also shows a system of surveillance because it didn't stop with Derek Williams. It continues. This is a pattern of conduct which is very specific. There's no coincidences here. So I just want to be clear. This is shown to be existing for a prolonged period of time, and the planes are engaged in all manner of nonsensical, nothing other than stalking, aerial surveillance, flying right over me while I'm in the parking lot of the Starbucks. And there's no airport in alignment here. They're not landing behind on Vineyard and then driving on Vineyard to get to the parking lot of the airport across Airport Road to get to the terminals. I showed you where Amazon Prime is on video at that parking lot, and there's no landing or rising over here. That's conducted over the sky space. It's a very rapid process also. These are demons that are stalking. When you're driving, sunlight isn't shooting like a laser, okay? That's only demons, right? And all their license plates are on the record here, stalking as an agency, and so is Starbucks, okay? Starbucks is a hostile third party. They're engaged in monitoring American citizens. They're psychopathic. They're engaged in what is the maintenance of a business of surveillance while they center their attention around coffee. This is the entity that engaged in kidnapping at what is the 507 North Euclid Avenue, where they are simultaneously. What is Corey Watson and Jay Sandoval sitting in while that fake sun's on Euclid Avenue and East Street? Okay, this is the entity that's engaging in that conduct, that level of conduct, which is documented to put psychopaths where they belong, and they don't belong in police uniforms. They certainly have no business having what are guns on their hips and going around like they have authority under the law, and they can't even spell enforcement, okay? I'm not playing. Quesada is a vagina monitor under the fake sun, obsessed with my vagina, stalking me in a bathroom while engaging in criminal summoning at 12:13 in the afternoon at the OVITT Family Community Library. When you can make sense of that being simultaneously over the Upland Public Library, then she will have to suffer no time in federal prison. But until then, that demon-possessed sex offender is going to prison. She's under the fake sun at all manner of hours. All right, this is the P.O.C. It is currently 7:38 a.m. 5GDY557. She's going to prison. She's severely mentally ill, and it took this prosecution in order to publicly diagnose and expose criminal conduct which is deranged. They are demon-possessed. And that is directly relevant to their behavioral health concerns, which threaten national security. This agency is being shut down. They're not just being prosecuted, they're being shut down, they're being disbanded. And they're going to be used as an example. The people of the state are very much foolish because they followed these idiots into destruction. They're being deported, they're being prosecuted as terrorists, they're being prosecuted as violent sex offenders, and anything that they're doing with that agency, they're going to prison for it. It's called criminal summoning. You want to threaten and refer to the gang members themselves, you're going to prison. They can't protect anybody. They incriminate everyone. This is an unsuccessful and the end of a cult. It's the end of it. They're going to prison. License 6FYD100, license 5GQU735, 9U0B837. P.O.C., don't forget about what they're doing when they're stalking me in these houses, in the housing community, while they're acting like they're setting here. These demons have no memory. There's no way to maintain an ongoing appearance of legitimacy when you are stalking. I'm the leader. I'm the one that they're following. That's why it's impossible, and all I do is document this asinine, the stupidity, the ignorance of Satan. These are the demon-possessed. These are puppets having the audacity to think higher than of themselves than they ought to, because they're fools. They're stalkers. You cannot be in control of the narrative. You look crazy, and you're also going to look crazy and embarrassed when you're being raided, when you're being locked up, when they're going over your charges in the courtroom, when they're talking about that company that's going to be looked at as a deranged means of what is incorporated corrupt business practices in this country. All right, this is P.O.C. It is currently 7:40 a.m. Currently, by the way, while the Ontario Police Department are targeting, so is Omnitrans. In concert with the people of the state, including license 5 Paul Victor Zebra 220, psychopathic pacing at San Antonio and HOLT the moment that I start recording. They're monitoring on my device. Omnitrans, in other words, is also monitoring while I am capturing this video about that which they are looking at even on my phone screen. This is how real time, okay, the ongoing stalking conduct is. The stalker that's lurking through your window outside, which is monitoring as the state, knows as you pick up your phone to call the gang stalking police and also take a picture of that black lurking figure outside behind your bushes. That's the stalker that knows what you're doing, who you're calling, as you're calling, is listening and is looking at your phone. That's the entity that's gang stalking, okay? So this is the entity, and that includes those that are stalking as a police department. They're being disbanded. Those are murderers and kidnappers. That's why they have that ongoing simultaneous knowledge while maliciously dressing up as though they're engaged in law enforcement. That's not law enforcement, and that's an unlawful threat. That's literally an enterprise regarding murderers and stalkers who then are also representing themselves as being noble and having authority under the Constitution. Okay? No authority under the Constitution at all. Okay, but I want to document because this is also Omnitrans. Omnitrans is engaged in targeting. As I'm capturing this video, it is currently 7:58 a.m. as you can clearly see on my phone screen. I'll just go ahead and confirm it, 7:59 a.m., right? I'm still at 706 West Holt Boulevard under the fake sun, where the fake sun is documented setting, okay, where these demons are just having a field day, just gang stalking in plain view. A Casada, that vagina monitor, knows she's going to prison, and so are her partners. Okay, they're all, by the way, they're all also sex partners. They are cult members. This is the Jezebel spirit. They have sex with each other, and that's because they are perverted and mentally ill. That is, their psychopathy is rooted to what is the kind of like they use their genitalia like porta potties. Everybody is they share it with everyone and everyone uses it. This is the entity that's engaged in this cult conduct, and it is not garnering any spiritual power. That's why they're being embarrassed. While they're engaged in what is not witchcraft, you're just a stalker. You're not magical. Everybody is looking at you. There's no illusion. This is the entity that's engaging in what is very forgetful conduct. Did you forget that you were flying in circles right here and pacing, and now you're acting like you're at the same location 6 hours from where that fake sun was over me at the same location? Now you're acting like you're landing there. This is the entity that's going to be committed, okay? This is the entity that is stalking as a police department with Omnitrans. Omnitrans is gang stalking how? Because the bus did not show up, okay? The bus did not show up while I'm being targeted by Omnitrans. That is also targeting while they keep a fake sun over me on that bus. This is relevant to the entity that's engaged in that pattern of conduct. And by the way, June 6, 2025, the fake sun is setting through the same Starbucks window. I'm inside, filled with engineer light, while they're through the drive-through, while they're just pacing at the intersection, while one demon after another in Ontario police vehicles are crossing paths, molesting, they're going to prison, and they're going to be subject to what are legitimate medical professionals who are going to put on the record the evidence of their mental illness, which is going to include this evidence here. Okay, they are under a fake sun stalking somebody who was capturing in real-time evidence of it on video, and they know it, and they did it on purpose. That's how psychopathic they are. The fake sun is setting at the same Starbucks on, and I have that after the entity, remember, engaged in kidnapping. So the entity is engaging in kidnapping with Tracy Banks, the same agency. You're talking about federal prison all the way around, people. But I want you to see the absence of the bus arrival. It's currently 8:01 a.m. You can see the next bus arrival is at 8:10, but magically, we have the bus arriving as I capture this footage. This is under the fake sun, and this is P.O.C. It's a federal RICO case. Alrighty. This is the P.O.C. Fake sun remaining en route. You see? Glued to the window. This is Monterey and Main Street in Pomona, California. We are, it's at 8:20 a.m. Foothill Transit's engaged in what this is. Using the buses, not in service. They engage of surveillance while the buses are in service and out of service. It's very easy, by the way, for them to flip that sign, engaging in surveillance, including targeting, like I'm showing how the bus lines are engaging with the entity. This is 8:20 a.m. while driving down the street, and as the bus turns, so will the fake sun and go in a totally different direction. 3 BLK 675, stalking on the roads and the highways in Pomona, California, which is Los Angeles County. P.O.C. Not only is this not the sun, this is speaking to state surveillance. The city of Pomona is engaging in the pattern of conduct with the
Foothill Transit, Omnitrans. This is, again, a business. It's a federal RICO case. It's relevant to public corruption. This is monitoring that's underway through the patrons of the bus line. And the entity is engaging in what is all manner of surveilling the evidence that's being captured against it while still engaging in that pattern of conduct. A transit center, the fake sun. This is Main Street and Commercial. So you can see where I'm at. I'm not making up anything. This is the city of Pomona. Fake sun is remaining street for street and turn for turn, which is impossible. In fact, it's asinine. It's demonic. All right, this is P.O.C. Alrighty, I just want to show you as I am showing you on the bus, as the bus is moving, coming in this direction, the fake sun is moving. I get off the bus. Everyone else is moving about. The fake sun's not moving about them. Okay, it's not moving in the direction that they're moving, which is, again, natural environment. Obviously, the sun is not maintaining some idiosyncratic means of behavior to every person everywhere. The sun's not going to rise and set over this building, and then where you're at in Indiana, it's going to rise and set over your home. Okay, what I'm showing you that I'm subject to, what I'm observing, what I'm documenting, while the entity is engaging in this, I get off of what is license 1545906 in Pomona, California. And the fake sun is stationary here where Merchants is gang stalking. Merchants is also gang stalking in Ontario, California. And it is impossible that the sun would be in Pomona, California. Pomona, California is a different county and a different city, and the same pattern of conduct is underway. This is not a coincidence that is in alignment with me. This is what you see the gang stalking airlines engaging in. They are stalking in the path, getting into alignment with me, engaging in their cartwheels, psychopathic pacing. This is where the entity is engaging in this conduct while they're driving under the fake sun, and engineer light is streaming towards me, speaking to surveillance of a demonic nature. And as the entity is keeping this fake sun moving in the direction that I am when I'm on that bus, as I go in the opposite direction, it will not be moving with any other vehicle. It moves in alignment to me. And I'm in Pomona, California right now, and it is 8:24 a.m. where the supervisor is engaged in surveillance with this company. Okay, this is Omnitrans, that is gang stalking in San Bernardino County and in Los Angeles County. This is the P.O.C. This is obsessive surrounding conduct. This is what he's doing. This is what Omnitrans vehicle. This is what Merchants is doing crossing path. This is what they're doing as they're getting off the bus. They're scattering like roaches. It's light activity. Okay, when they're creating their shadows, they're walking around, they're driving around, they're using their sirens. What Ontario police are doing at Starbucks under a fake sun, what they're doing while they're driving by an engineer light moving all across, that's demonic. These are demons, and this is surveillance, and this is the beast system that is fully underway, as I've already shown, in Pomona, California, and Los Angeles County. All right, Union Pacific is indeed engaging in what is activity creation. Transit is like the Upland Police Department coming to the city of Ontario to gang stalk me, doing so on Holt Boulevard. This is the entity that monitors evidence and engages in foolish things like that. They also went into El Pollo Loco. Foothill Transit employees gang stalking me at the El Pollo Loco in Ontario, California. That's the entity that's engaging in that. They represent the companies, okay, like territorial demons that are typically gang stalking at a venue. You reference that venue, those territorial demons will come and target you wherever you're at. This is their mentally ill tactics. But nonetheless, this is, again, I want to be clear, this is not that which is going to be heard throughout the entire city. It's not going to cause a vibration through the asphalt, okay? It's not now. And it's also not that which is the evidence for what is a naturally audible activity level, like I'm documenting the public nuisance that the cities are maintaining when they're monitoring through all that population, okay? This is P.O.C. I am, like I stated, in Pomona, California, and this is the Pomona Transit. So this is the address that I'm going to put it under. This is I'm at the Pomona Transit Center. This is commercial. You can see where I'm at, and I've documented this before. I've police San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department. Okay, March 22nd, 2022, okay? Gang members, they also know exactly who I am. That's why Los Angeles County Sheriff is gang stalking me by helicopter at Alvarado Gardens in Los Angeles. This is not brand new at all. I'm going to these cities and counties and showing you that, first of all, there's no expiration date with regard to the scientific evidence that is sitting on the record for the world to witness. This is the existence of the beast system. This is the proof that it is in existence, that they are demons, Satan is already in operation, and that it will no longer continue secretly. It's out now. And this beast system is what this entity sought to execute me with, tried to murder me and defame my character, which is the conduct of the government. And the government's acting with the people. Okay, Satan doesn't have an economic status. The demons that can't even wipe their behinds, they can't take showers, they're living outside in the gutter, they are gang stalking with the mayor.
in the city hall, in the courthouses, the police departments. You are the one that is deceived, thinking that they're different, that they're strangers, that there's no correlation. They are all one entity under the fake sun, and they are operating in sync, targeting together of all races and all ages. It is public corruption. This is P.O.C. It is 8:27 a.m. Alrighty, this is the evidence of the city of Pomona that is indeed targeting. Pay attention. This is P.O.C. And this is the city of Pomona. And so is that. That's the city of Pomona. Pomona maintains no airport, and the Ontario International Airport are not maintaining any landings from the city of Pomona to the city of Ontario. The context is that the fake sign is here. The city of Ontario are the ignoramuses that kept a fake sun from sunrise till sunset on Euclid Avenue. And then you go west into LA County, and they're maintaining what is implausible, okay? And they're engaging in that pattern of conduct with the same defendants. The state that's maintaining surveillance, the airports, the fake sun is in alignment to me when I'm in LA County and Pomona at the Pomona Regional Transit Center, which is irreconcilable with the rise and set of the fake sun at the OVITT Family Community Library on Euclid Avenue in Ontario, maintaining exclusive presence in Ontario, and the entity is flying directly over my head while that fake sun, it's very precise targeting. This is P.O.C. The entities engaging in this while they are specifically targeting me, and they've been targeting my vagina. And the entities engaging in what is, again, bracing itself as I come to the city of Pomona. That's what this is. They know who I am. They're watching because they've been documented before 2026. They're watching themselves being documented and prosecuted on the internet. And the entities engaging in what is monitoring with, it's impossible, but they're trying to keep me. That's what the Omnitrans purpose of not arriving, not wanting me to go into another city and whatnot. It's funny, but it's not. This is what an entity does. You know how they typically do that? By killing you, murdering you. All right, this is P.O.C. It is 8:32 a.m. Alrighty, this is the Pomona Police Department showing themselves as the demons that they are. Their demon possession is relevant to prosecuting for public corruption. This is psychopathic pacing. Stalking by police officers is terrorism, and it's prison 1262982. Engaging in surveillance like you'll see on video in the parking lot while the people of the state are pacing on the street. Monitoring with a police department is an act of terrorism 1674545, vehicle 34. They are engaging in stalking, just like the Ontario police with the fake sun over that police department. That's not the sun. That is the evidence of the establishment itself that is a facilitating venue that is disguising itself as having authority under the law, which is committed so that agencies like the Pomona Police and the Ontario Police Department can commit what are acts of kidnapping, what are acts of false accusations, and also defamation, while they engage in criminal activity against American citizens that they are targeting by evidence of a fake sun, where Southwest Airlines just flew through this fake sun. You will see that in the evidence of where I'm just capturing license plates. This is what I documented. And Southwest Airlines flew through over the police department, okay? Flew through the fake sun, just like they do at the Stater Brothers in Ontario, California, where the fake sun is rising and setting. This is the conduct. These are demons. That's impossible light underneath. This is the entity that's engaging what is while they're driving out of the driveway, they're crossing path. License 8LZN311. This is Pomona, California. It is at 8:57 a.m. I'm remaining in Ontario, California, and I'm also placing myself as of late in Pomona, California. In Upland, California. The entity, but there again, I'm always giving you an ability to identify the significance of what I'm documenting, and also for you to see what you are surrounded by wherever you are at in this country and also in the world. Okay, based on the exclusivity of the sun and what the entity is doing under the fake sun, so that you're aware about what Satan is doing, regardless of what regime you are subject to. This is the beast system, and the entity has the fake sun over me, for example, while I am remaining in Ontario, California, and at 9 a.m. at the Ontario Town Square, 9 a.m. at the Ontario Village Shopping Center. You can pick a place, any place. It's 8:57 a.m. and it's currently 8:58 a.m. now. The entity is maintaining this fake sun in Pomona, California, and there is no reconciling what is the very, first of all, hovering light source. It's sitting on the roof if that was actually the sun, which is not. You know that because the government is also engaging in stalking all around it, Southwest flying through it. The demon possessed, molesting with impossible light. Underneath it, 86843U1, stalking with the police. This is prison. right? This agency is illegitimate. They're engaging, this is the beast system, which is what they're engaging in. They're committing, with regard to the law, the Constitution, they're engaging what is a fictitious exercise of authority relevant to what are kidnappings and not lawful arrest. Outside of the doctrines, the constitutional doctrines regarding reasonable suspicion and probable cause, they do not have that. We're in the specific environment engaging in what is monitoring everyone, everywhere. That's what this is. It is surveillance, and then disguising it as law enforcement to protect what are criminals, who are then facilitated in this system, the beast system, in the gang stalking courthouses, which is why the fake sun is over me at the Pomona courthouse. This is the same pattern of conduct I'm capturing in San Bernardino County. The entity that committed kidnappings, defame my character, and then this beast system, which was utilized to defame me and then steal my inheritance. The entity that is targeting and knowing exactly who I am, inheritance that I never received, was never told about. This is the entity that's engaging in that criminal activity together. This is P.O.C. That's a molestation. 8 George Sam George 139, and they're doing it with the police department. That is the basis of prison. I want you to pay attention. This is the city of Pomona. This is the city of Pomona. They're flying all around me, all over, while they are stalking in the path. This is the city of Pomona. All right? The entity is in the images that are uploaded to the Google Drive. You'll see all of it. They're flying right over my head as I am walking on the streets through the city with commercial planes. That is the city of Pomona. Okay, the entity is being prosecuted. This is the state of California, and all of the cities throughout the state, and all of the counties throughout the state. Robert Luna, San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, and you have what is, as I'm documenting, Michael Moore, and then Dominic Choi, and then you have the latest terrorist leader over the Los Angeles Police Department that is still engaging in this pattern of conduct, committing murders and then claiming that you will be investigating them. There is no such investigation. They're engaged in surveillance, and they are routinely getting away with kidnapping and killing people. This is the Pomona Police Department, however. This is the city of Pomona. It is Los Angeles County. I'm speaking big picture, but this is a superficial distinction regarding what is an ongoing system in the United States. 143 Wing, 143 WING. The people of the state are stalking on the roads and the highways. This is P.O.C. It's currently 9:01 a.m. All right, that's impossible light activity while they're driving on the opposite side of the road. And while they're driving in both directions under what is not the sun, okay? And that's also not sunlight. The same exact pattern of conduct that you're seeing in cities like Ontario, where it's supernatural. And what you're actually looking at, practically, the people of the state are sitting around surveilling and like guarding the Pomona Police Department. They're engaging in surveillance while they're the gang stalkers themselves are inside of the police department. Understand that. This is that ongoing criminal cooperation. The entity uses things such as that require reasonable suspicion to pull over the people of the state to engage in light activity, which is what is moving across the building. Light activity, not the product of driving underneath the sun at a distance, light ricocheting, sweeping, fanning, brushing, whatever you want to call that. This is the P.O.C. The Pomona Police Department are again exposing another infestation of cockroaches, demons that are engaging in the pattern of conduct. This is demonic, and they're monitoring. Those that are inside of the venue are monitoring, and these that are outside are monitoring. And this is the Pomona Police Department exposing that to you while the people of the state are crossing path, doing so while they are literally surrounding the Pomona Police Department. Okay, this is the P.O.C. So I'm going to show you the fake sun where that impossible light activity is ongoing. They're stalking. They're all stalking. That's P.O.C. Alrighty, and they are stalking me. The Pomona Police Department are stalking me while the fake sun follows me to this venue. They don't have any constitutional authority. They are the entity. This is the beast system. They're all gang stalkers targeting together. This is P.O.C. All right, and this is the evidence that's going to be used to
have the entity committed in addition to criminally convicted. The so-called chief of police is a terrorist leader. This is gang violence. It is mentally ill behavior, and it is what is revealing that public corruption, which is fully underway in Pomona, California. Formerly practicing in the Pomona Superior Court, this is the entity that, again, maintains no attorney-client privilege. The people of the state were targeting me as I am a practicing attorney, even being targeted by the Pomona Police Department, by the people of the state, by the gang stalkers sitting on the bench at what is the Pomona Courthouse, where you're seeing this ongoing evidence of the pattern of conduct. Impossible light sweeping across, fake sun over me at the Pomona Police Department, over the Pomona Courthouse. This is where I was targeted as a practicing attorney with the law offices of Michael I.I.S. I was targeted in Los Angeles County by LAPD while I'm being subject to what is corporate bullying. Those are the demon possessed. That's the beast system underway in the workplace. All right. And this is the entity that is engaging in what is violating your liberty right to make money, survive, which they do in order that you are in the position that I'm in, falsely depicting your character when you are actually wealthy. And that entity knows who you are so that they can falsely depict you as one who is mentally ill, a criminal, a prostitute, a drug addict, when they actually are, while they're gang stalking you. And they're also compensated and targeting you. This is no police department. These are demons. And they are the same entity. That's why the fake sun, the supernatural, is over me. And that's the evidence that they are targeting and that they know you, not their facial expressions, not their friendly, hi, how you doing, while they're engaging in what is enforcing the law that they don't have authority under. This is P.O.C. No, under no circumstances ever is the sun going to be over this police department, nor is driving on the roads and the highways underneath the sun. Whether you want to argue it, you can argue reasonably, but you don't have to talk about the fact that that's the fake sun. It doesn't result in light moving across the department. This is the entity that was targeting with law, Michael I.I.S, who was targeting me as well. He is currently licensed as an attorney. He hired me, just like speaker companies, as a property manager to engage in the conspiracy to murder me, to stop me from being able to work, in other words. All right? This is what the entity is doing while they're targeting you in concert with the people who are doing so in furtherance of that same criminal objective. The evidence of being targeted right here, which is the light activity in the fake sun. These are demons that are not strangers. This is the entity. This is the system. And this is what I'm subject to as a practicing attorney at this courthouse, the Pomona Superior Court. The people of the state are being documented. This is what I mean. You don't have any privacy. There's no attorney-client privilege. And this is why the people of the state, the entity has been exposed with regard to those that I was representing, and doing so lawfully while the entity has no protection whatsoever, conspiring my murder, and doing so while engaging in what is a transaction business with the office of Michael I.I.S in order to target me, gang stalk me. Okay, doing so, a federal stalking, meeting at the courthouse, monitoring in the courtroom with the targeting entity, including the judges, they're using all of the pattern of conduct that's underway in the midst of court cases, which literally are also manufactured, engineered in order to just target me. You know that because they're going to the extent to have a fake sun over that courthouse while I am there. Okay, and this is what my evidence shows. It is not, there is no expiration date. Michael I.I.S still remains subject to what is a federal prosecution. That is an unlawful threat to my life. While I left Upland, California in 2018 because the city of Upland, just like you see now, was gang stalking me and Tracy Banks attacking me, criminally summoning them while I'm showing you that P.O.C. And then I'm relocating, starting again, just like I'm perfectly capable of doing. This entity, the one that is targeting, is stopping me from exercising my liberty right and practice law and make money and do what I am fully capable of doing. And that evidence that you're seeing now is directly relevant in the proof of what it is that I was stating years ago. And you have people that are going to prison for it. When you are hiring the targeted individual in order to take their life, which is what is gang stalking, that you're going to prison. And you will not be maintaining any practice of law. You are not keeping a bar license. The entities engaging in this with the Pomona Police Department while I'm at this courthouse. I'm being targeted at the Metro Courthouse in Los Angeles. That's the Los Angeles Police Department. And throughout Los Angeles, this is how that pattern of conduct works. I'm at the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court practicing law. You already know that the Ontario Police Department, Chino Police Department, Fontana, and Upland Police Department are gang stalking. That's the entity that committed kidnapping. Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court's not even going to exist. This is the beast system, and I'm showing this system while I'm in LA County. This is what I'm subject to, and I maintained a record of the courthouses that I went to and the information of the people of the state who were targeting through my job, my career as an attorney, forcing me to resign because of the ongoing targeting by agencies such as the Pomona Police Department. This is P.O.C. stalking me on the roads and the highways while I am traveling to the courthouses subject to the P.O.C.
all right, treating my career that I take very seriously as though it is a joke, while they're just using it to gang stalk me and further into murdering me because they know that I have money as well. That is evidence of state targeting. This is P.O.C. It is currently 9:10 a.m. I'm going to show you the courthouse again. That fake sun is moving as I move on the sidewalk. Pomona police are stalkers. The people of the state in LA County and Pomona, California are stalkers. This is conclusive evidence to a scientific degree of certainty. And by the way, no jury pool full of demons are going to violate or spoil what is justice. It's already been shown that they cannot be trusted to maintain a jury pool. They will not be engaged in any verdict that is rendered with regard to the entity itself that is monitoring. This is the fake sun. This is light activity. This demon is stalking with light that's spraying out also with this psychopathic pacing, 9MFR999. And this is P.O.C. with the light activity as they open the door under the fake sun at the Pomona Superior Court. And of record, I'm practicing law here and I'm being targeted. Okay, and this is the entity that has no intention with regard to California law, privacy laws, while they are forfeiting, they're waiving their privacy right regarding things like attorney-client privilege as well. While they're talking about their case and everything, while they're gang stalking me, it's no private information. There's no privacy with regard to what the attorneys are able to talk. This is all an illusion. This is an illusion. Okay, this is the entity that's, again, I'm going to prosecute them with their illusions because you're seeing the malice of that system. This is P.O.C. It's public information while they're talking to me and I'm discussing their case about the fact that they got pulled over for a DUI and how drunk they were and what they may need to anticipate in that courtroom. All of that they're engaging in while they're gang stalking. You are waiving your attorney-client privilege. It is public information while they're pacing around, monitoring all my devices. They're all stalking and monitoring together. This is the beast system while they're maintaining a courtroom, maintaining a courthouse, a criminal justice system to that end regarding such privacy that's supposedly coexisting, and it does not. It does not exist. It's mutually exclusive. This is that illusion. Gang stalking courthouses are going to be raided. They're not going to be, especially you engaged in kidnapping, Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court, Lisa Rogan. I already stated it's the case, so refer to the evidence, but that courthouse is not remaining. This is P.O.C. It is currently 9:12 a.m. Alrighty, this is P.O.C. This is the entity that is stalking. Pomona maintains no commercial airport. So these are the cities acting together. All right, this is the entity maintaining commercial flight hovering over the building where the fake sun is hovering over me. You see where they're at, lined in the path with my person. Stalking E52592 is stalking as well. The entity is maintaining vehicles in the path. They can at any moment with regard to monitoring activity creation, get into their vehicle, stay in their vehicle, get out of their vehicle. It's all activity creation. This is psychopathic pacing under the fake sun, DG526. Their handicap is based on their demon possession, their mental illness, their criminal conduct as a corrupt entity, because they are the Nephilim. That's what's wrong with regard to their mental illness, the fact that they're handicapped, not what DMV is creating an illusion of regarding what is physical status, some physical handicap or mental. The entity is engaging in, nonetheless. Let me just take a step back. How do you know what all this is besides what I'm analyzing right now in real time? Because at the same exact time yesterday, the demons of the Ontario Police Department are engaged in psychopathic pacing, which is what this is. Flying over my head, fake sun over me, and where am I at 9:33 a.m.? The Ontario Village Shopping Center, where the entity is maintaining this fake sun, and I am in Pomona, California. This is the prosecution of the entity that's gang stalking. The businesses in California are engaged in surveillance. That's why they don't mind, the old people don't mind plane and helicopter over what's supposed to be a quaint neighborhood. They don't mind the violation of the quiet enjoyment right under contract. Everyone is acting as though it's not happening when there's no airports that would maintain conduct in the sky space. No one's noticing the fake sun that's hovering above you, and also nothing's setting on fire. They also don't notice and don't acknowledge while they're stalking and molesting with impossible light. 9MTW553 is gang stalking with the city of Ontario. They are one entity. I've shown you the pattern of conduct as I go from location to location, position to position, place to place, city to city, county to county. And I've also included what is state to state. This is the fake sun that is not anywhere over the parking lot where it already was over me this morning. Okay, well, I'm looking at that venue at 7 a.m. where the Ontario police are stalking at 7:40, 7:30, 7:50 in the morning, where the entity's maintaining at what is 9:35 a.m. the same exact maintenance of a fake sun 2 hours later. But I'm in Pomona underscoring that that is indeed state surveillance and it's mentally ill behavior, especially while law enforcement wants to be confused with, demons that are criminally monitoring want to be confused as law enforcement. This is an entity that's engaged in psychopathic pacing on the video at 9:33 a.m. at the Ontario Village Shopping Center. They're doing so under the fake sun, while the people of the state at the entrance of the Stater Brothers, as I'm walking out, I'm capturing their license plates. I walk through that parking lot, and the demons are having a field day flying in circles. That's mentally ill psychopathic behavior. Not only stalking, because they're pacing in the sky space using a helicopter. Okay, these are feces consumers. They are outright deranged while they're stalking. And they're doing so in the helicopter under the fake sun in Ontario, which is not going to be over. It's not even going to be over the city in Pomona. All right, it's certainly not going to be in what is over me, reflecting off of a windshield right in front of me in Pomona, California. That's impossible. It is the P.O.C. 8HVT337 is the identification of a third party, where the city of Pomona is targeting me while commercial planes and smaller planes are targeting me where I'm located. And it is very specific. It's not ambiguous, and certainly no one else is imagining this while you're looking at it. That's the entity that likes to defame your character while the government is maintaining the beast system, and they're targeting you in every area of your life. This is P.O.C. And what do psychopaths do when they are caught? And demons are embarrassed when they're caught, so they continuously do more of the same. That's UPS, that's gang stuff. They're not landing behind the Ontario Town Square in Ontario, California, and they're not landing from Pomona, California either. They're stalking. That's why fake sun is over me at the same exact time in Ontario, California. This is a hostile demon. They engage in psychopathic conduct. This is an Asian female. If any of the immigrants in California, they're being deported. 7RMU431. Okay? This is P.O.C. that's pacing in front on the roads and the highways with the impossible light while the demons are pacing above. And these demons are very hostile because of the evidence I just got. 6ACW346. These are demons. This isn't traffic. This isn't, oh, I went the wrong way, I'm going to just drive illegally. This is pacing. Demons are engaging in what is monitoring. 9RTC794. And this is the Pomona Police Department. You see that light traveling around? That's not even current with regard to what's going to happen driving under the sun, let alone it's in Ontario, California. How is this? Because they're demons and they're stalking. And they engage in vagina monitoring. The OVITT Family Community Library employees are going to federal prison. Okay, this is how this is working. You're going to federal prison for lying on the targeted individual, for criminally summoning the kidnappers and the murderers on to the target individual, especially when they don't have authority under the law. That's how this system operates. They're engaging in this in Pomona, California, speaking to the criminal conduct in Ontario, California, and vice versa. This is the prosecution of the U.S. government that's monitoring in California, which these imbeciles expose the entire system. The U.S. government is practicing. This is Main and 2nd Street at 9:38 a.m. This is P.O.C.
In the morning, and I am on HOLT Avenue in Pomona, California, on Route 61, heading toward the opposite direction that I did this morning, where this fake sun would be then along the same street, going in the opposite direction along the same street, and it's over me on the same route, Route 61, headed in the opposite direction along the same street, going through different cities. Number one. Number two, the entity, this is HOLT Boulevard, so you can see. And we are at what is Amherst and HOLT Boulevard. And the entity's maintaining, we're going into Montclair now. The entity's maintaining this fake sun with regard to being along the Route 61 and coming from Ontario at San Antonio Avenue and HOLT Boulevard, where the city of Ontario presented a tremendous evidence of seeking to obstruct justice by merely harassing and terrorizing, stalking and molesting. Trying to control, again, someone else's life. This is the entity that's gang stalking by keeping Omnitrans. Omnitrans is targeting by not arriving at the bus stop to avoid this very documentation that you are looking at. This is Montclair. This is right 4490 HOLT Boulevard in Montclair, California. The entity is targeting from city to city, flying over my head by commercial plane. Doing so while that fake sun remains over me. And at this time, the entity is keeping the fake sun at 10 o'clock in the morning in Upland, California. And I walk inside and I show you images of this fake sun being over the roof of the Upland Public Library at 450 Again, 450 North Euclid Avenue in Upland, California. This is Holt Boulevard in Montclair, California, and I have the fake sun over me. That adjective, being fake, is imperative, and it is exactly what is the case, because this is not over the library through the windows, causing any sunlight. The shape of those windows, all over the staircase and all over the floor, were sex offenders that intentionally carry toddlers as you look at them. And what they're actually doing is that they're showing you that the B system includes children who are not only predators while the entity is monitoring with children, but they are trained up to be predators. They're demons, just like their demon-possessed parents, and they're targeting with the government, showing that the entity is full of gang-stalking families who are under that fake sun with knowledge that it's being documented. This is P.O.C. This is the entity that, as you're looking at, what is Pomona versus Upland, California, Montclair versus Upland, California, and what is over the top of my head at the same time. That is the evidence of surveillance. This is the beast system. And this is on the roads and the highways. Omnitrans is engaged in surveillance. All right, they're sitting idle with the lights on. People that say they're just monitoring one demon after another, psychopathic pacing. All right, that's P.O.C. The amplified audible activity is demonic. As demonic as what you see is everything that you're hearing while the demon possessed are engaged in monitoring. This is the population that is stalking on the roads and the highways. These are the mentally ill, the co-conspirators of murder, vagina monitors. This is P.O.C. Alrighty, this is P.O.C. This is Superior Grocer, where Hernandez is engaged in criminal summoning, stalking, targeting me during the 2 p.m. hour. Ontario International Airport and the Ontario Police Department are targeting while I'm at this laundromat that's over me at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Alright, this is the entity that is gang stalking. It's currently 11 a.m., 10, 12 a.m. right now. Look at the time. It's 10, 12 a.m. The entity's maintaining the fake sun over the Ontario Village Shopping Center. It is not. It's not over there. It's over there when the entity is targeting me at the Ontario Village Shopping Center. I am still being targeted, and the entity is going to be federally prosecuted. This is the significance of recognizing the fake sun that's on the Holt Boulevard and not over the village itself, meaning it's not over everyone else and that I'm just one amongst everyone else that's under the same. No, it's not. It went to Pomona, California, this exclusive light source, in addition to the entity that is engaging in surveillance by plane, and doing so while they are monitoring the evidence, stalked with impossible light. And the entity is doing so at that Superior Grocer at 815 West Holt Boulevard. Hernandez is under the fake sun, speaking to everything that came out of his mouth, asking me to be quiet while I'm documenting a stalker that's engaging in psychological torture, harassment, and is targeting in furtherance of murdering me, having already stolen my money, the reason why I'm sleeping outside. An American citizen is not mentally ill when the entity seeks to trigger you like that, and is doing so while they are stalking with the people of the state together. That level of malice is mentally ill, okay? That's mentally ill behavior. It's maniacal. This is the entity that's keeping the fake sun while I'm traveling what is east on Holt Boulevard right now. This is impossible to coexist with being over the Upland Public Library, remaining over the entrance of the OVITT Family Community Library. Remember what the entity is doing on March 2nd, 2026. This is before daylight savings time. So the entity is maintaining that fake sun from sunrise until sunset. Daylight savings time is giving and taking away an hour. The OVITT Family Community Library, Sean Thrasher, the Ontario Police Department, the Ontario International Airport are prosecuted by virtue of that evidence. There is no sun that's going to be over 815 West Holt Boulevard, to then be later over me at that venue as I documented on that Wednesday afternoon after 2 p.m. where that agency is stalking me, and then it persists to engage in stalking by helicopter. Again, the psychopathic pacing by flying in circles. They're going to be committed to mental institutions, and they are going to prison, and that agency in particular is being disbanded. You're going to compare these videos together while the entity is engaged in surveillance with the people of the state. This is P.O.C. It is currently 10 10:15 a.m. P.O.C. This is systematic crossing a path. This is not the sun, and that's not sunlight. This is the system, engineering, criminal monitoring, P.O.C. It's 10 a.m. This is the Ontario International Airport. The property where planes are taking off and landing, which is nowhere near and irreconcilable regarding the evidence I have of the entity hovering over Woodside Senior Apartments over the Pizza Hut at 715 North Euclid Avenue, engaging in the cartwheels where they fly out over the venues where I'm located in Ontario to make U-turns and then fly back in the opposite direction. This is the entity that is gang stalking at the Ontario International Airport at 10:30 a.m. while the fake sun is remaining glued to the window above me where I'm at, positioned on the bus, speaking to surveillance everywhere that I'm going, especially as I'm traveling from city to city. This is crossing path. This is monitoring at the Ontario International Airport. The entity is engaged in what is surveillance using commercial planes, and so documenting the pattern of conduct at the airport is relevant to prosecuting the city and prosecuting the airlines who are also engaged in interstate commerce while they're maintaining surveillance. This is a threat to the public while they're gang stalking me. Understand that this is an entity that is targeting American citizens by intentionally harming them. Plane crashes are not accidents where the entities engage in the surveillance system. They're sacrifices. This is the beast system. These are demons. And the entities engage in what is this demonic environment over me at 10:29 a.m. where the entities maintaining the fake sun in clear, distinct locations, which is far from what would be the airport. This is where I'm located, and this is where the fake sun is moving over the airport. It's not remaining stationary over the airport. It's American Airlines, Starlux Airlines, Southwest Airlines right here. The entity is gang stalking while that fake sun is remaining over me. And this is also the City of Ontario and the airport stalking, including when I'm away from the airport, and the entity is maintaining aerial surveillance through the commercial airlines. All right, this is the P.O.C. It's currently 10:31 a.m. The entity is maintaining this ongoing environment for the duration of the bus ride, which is speaking to no exception regarding the pattern of conduct. None. This is P.O.C. This is gang stalking aboard public transportation. This is employee number 1329, engaging in what is sexual assault and battery in concert with the people of the state who are hostile terrorists, molesting me, targeting me on the bus, and the entity is going to be federally prosecuted for that. Omnitrans is in violation of federal, state, and local laws while the pattern of conduct is underway. They are targeting with the entity maintaining helicopter and commercial planes and the smaller government planes with the people of the state. They're stalking together. All right, and that's an entirely unlawful threat posed to your life while you are being targeted aboard public transportation. All right, this is P.O.C. It is currently 10:32 a.m. This is Airport Road. Yeah, Airport Road. Airport Drive, excuse me. Alrighty, this is the same intersection that we were at yesterday at Jonathan San Bernardino Avenue. This is the people of the state stalking as a population. This is the government that is engaged in what is criminal monitoring. This is indeed at what is Jennifer. Here you go. Let me show you. They're monitoring on the bus and they're monitoring around the bus on the roads and the highways. Yesterday, the bus continues forward and that fake sun goes forward. The bus is turning as the bus is turning. Excuse me, the fake sun is turning as the bus turns. All right, this is the P.O.C. That's at the 9720 facilitating venue, San Bernardino and Juniper. And the fake sun is moving and remaining where I am with regard to what is state surveillance. And this is occurring at what is 11:02 a.m. where the entity is maintaining, as I've shown, the facilitating venues where I'm under surveillance under that fake sun, which is exposing the U.S. government that's engaged in monitoring. The entity is maintaining ongoing impossible light activity all over the bus, flashing on the bus, which is relevant to psychological torture and ongoing harassment, while they are also monitoring the evidence. This is P.O.C. And this is the entity that is maintaining that environment while they're keeping me under surveillance aboard the bus and all around the bus. It's 11:02 a.m. These are the people of the state monitoring to get the information.
I'm sorry? On the computers? I think some of the computers might be hooked up through the internet, so they may be working.
Are the computers Ethernet or are they Wi-Fi?
I'm sorry?
Are the computers Ethernet or Wi-Fi operated?
They're Ethernet.
Oh, okay. So it's the Wi-Fi that's not working?
It's the Wi-Fi that's not working.
Oh, okay. And you said there's no ETA on that?
There's no ETA on this right now.
Okay, thank you. This is Fontana Lewis. The fake sun is present. The entity is monitoring via Wi-Fi. So this is the entity that's making Wi-Fi unavailable, especially while the evidence that was just captured in Pomona, Montclair, Ontario, and Fontana is on the internet. Published from my device onto the internet, and you have the people of the state that are gang stalking, asking questions in order to get that information out there while they're monitoring. There is no malfunction when they're engaging in surveillance. The fake sun directly rebuts that. There's not a failure in Wi-Fi. That's the entity that's rendering it incapable of being accessible, which I've also documented plenty of times. This is P.O.C. It is currently, by the way, 11:30 a.m. The entity is monitoring while they are engaging in the pattern of conduct in Fontana, California. This is going from Ontario to Pomona back to Fontana, where the entity is at the same time, my evidence shows, keeping the fake sun, for example, over the same street, Euclid Avenue, at the OVITT Family Community Library. For example, getting up at the bus stop at F Street in Euclid, going to C Street in Euclid, where the library is, where it opens at 10 and it closes, and that's where that fake sun sits all day. As I go from city to city and county to county, capturing the P.O.C, and the entity is asserting that the Wi-Fi is inactive as I capture that damning evidence, which is prosecuting the U.S. government, including while they manufacture errors which do not exist in that specific environment. This is P.O.C. That's speaking to the corruption of that entity. That's what that's relevant to. It's P.O.C. Okay, this is P.O.C. Let me just so you can see. This is the light activity that you see on the street in the dark at 5 in the morning, where the people of the street are the people of the state are stalking on the roads and the highways, maintaining surveillance via the appearance of traffic. They're driving in impossible light activity. It's not their headlights. It's not the street lights. This is impossible light activity. So you can see where I'm at. This is a window. Okay, you can see the concentrated light, which is an indication that the sun is the cause of that light. The building itself, however, is not going to have this creation of my shadow. First of all, that's upright at a distance of me inside of the building. Moreover, the shape of the window along with the ceiling. This is the same light activity that you see inside of private spaces such as my hotel rooms, my apartment at Alvarado Gardens, Tracy Banks' third-party facilitating venue, Woodside Senior Apartments. Tracy Banks is distinct from the target individual. She is monitoring the target individual that's staying in her apartment, which is a facilitating venue, not private property, especially when this is the evidence that is inside of it regarding what is surveillance and surveillance of genitalia. The government is a violent sex offender. The security guards are coming over here, and this is the guys for pacing, use of communication devices. The demon-possessed teenagers are perusing the aisles, stalking, monitoring what I'm doing on my device. As you listen to on the podcast, they are monitoring in the bathroom, and they are doing so while they are keeping the evidence under surveillance. This is under no ever going to occur. That's a third party that knows where I'm at, is listening to me right now, is a demon, and is engaging in state surveillance. Let's go look at the fake sun. This is absolutely impossible light activity. Absolutely impossible. P.O.C. Demons. Surveillance. Corruption. Malice. Vagina monitors. This is surrounding. This is all surrounding and it's stalking. Impossible light activity. It's also impossible because the entity's keeping the fake sun in Ontario over the OVITT Family Community Library. Don't forget about that. P.O.C. Alright, the entity has the fake sun. This is on the opposite side where I just came from. That would require the fake sun is just wrapping around the building. But again, when I'm looking at the other angle, you saw engineer light up right on the wall inside of a room where the object itself is not even visible, nor is this the sun. Okay, this is the pattern of conduct, and everybody in here is engaging in surveillance. This is Fontana, California, the P.O.C. It is currently 3:19.
The time is 11:44 p.m. And this is the Ontario Police are engaging in criminal summoning. Like I stated, criminal summoning serves the monitoring on devices. It's a light activity while they are stalking, physically stalking around the targeted individual in concert with the people of the state. And the entity is doing so while I am looking at what the entity has engaged in on my devices. Pay attention to what it is that I documented today in Pomona, California, Fontana, California, Montclair, California, Ontario, California. The entity is engaging in tampering with the documentation that's published online. The entity is going to federal prison for this, okay? But this is letting you know that it is indeed the evidence of monitoring, the evidence of surveillance on the internet. The entity is indeed engaged in stalking, is aware that they're being documented as a stalker, targeting someone in furtherance of taking that person's life. And as the evidence is gathered, including the people of the state who are engaging in this stalking system, trying to murder somebody, knowing that they're being documented as a stalker and a co-conspirator murder, and still engaging in it. And so this is the entity. There's nothing wrong with my account. And the entity engaged in what is tampering with my account. This is the entity that's engaging as I went into all of the accounts. So I opened them up so that you can see them. And then as I'm going back into my accounts, this is what's from these days, right? April 1st, April 2nd, April 3rd, today's April 4th. April 4th is when I went to Pomona today, I went to Fontana today, I went through Montclair today, captured damning evidence again. I've done this before regarding the fake sun. And remember, before I did that, Casada, the Ontario Police, all those gang members and the gang members who are the people of the state thought that it was an excellent idea in concert with Omnitrans to engage in gang stalking, criminal summoning with the Ontario Fire Department. They engaged in stalking this circus conduct with the planes, Southwest Airlines, doing cartwheels, all manner of dipping like they're landing right there at San Antonio. They did all that, and then I left, documented it, and I went right on to Pomona and documented the entity gang stalking me and doing so at the same time while the fake sun is over me and in a different county, in a different city. And I'm documenting the people of the state capturing their license plates, identifying terrorists who are conspiring my murder in real time while I'm being gang stalked in Pomona, to Montclair, to Fontana. And the entity is on the internet in real time, even right now, while Union Pacific is monitoring, while El Bacon is monitoring, while the people of the state are monitoring, and the Ontario Police, who are monitoring in real time, immediately engage in what is criminal summoning at approximately 11:39 p.m. They're doing so while they are manufacturing what is a block to my Google account. Okay, this is a product of criminal monitoring, and like I stated, Google is a third party. YouTube are engaged in what is monitoring, and the entities engaged in what is blocking information, documentation that was captured today. Okay, this is the entity that's going to federal prison. Let me be clear. It is down to even the people of the state that are documented, and the entity blocks that information like this. They're going to federal prison. This is how you must punish and prosecute terrorists who think that they will murder you, stalk you, hunt you down, terrorize you on behalf of the government, and then you will engage in what is just taking that evidence from that person and continuously stalking and hunting them down. These are the terrorists who are the Nephilim. These are the terrorists who are the gang members of the state of California. And I want to be clear, this is that beast system. It is going to be met with putting terrorists where they belong. And the entity in Ontario, California is engaging in this on behalf of the state. They're doing this on behalf of the demons in Pomona, on behalf of the demons in Fontana, on behalf of the demons in Montclair. And they're doing so while they are sitting around stalking in emergency vehicles, sounding sirens and molesting me with impossible light. No sirens and lights are going to cause any light activity on the bench beside me. These are demons like Ekasada, who are engaging in what is terrorism while they're being documented, while they're being proven as vagina monitors, and then they engage in ongoing terrorism and psychological torture tactics, such as stalking you with light, while they are demon-possessed, engaging in monitoring you before they murder you. This is relevant. There is nothing wrong with my accounts. The entity is the one that's monitoring, and this is a tactic regarding what is federal stalking on the venue of the internet. It is currently 11:48 p.m. This is relevant to criminal acts of obstruction of justice. This is what's showing up on my phone the moment that I enter in my phone number to access my account, which was blocked from my ability to access it. And as I begin that process, after looking at my accounts that are fully accessible, the entity that's engaging in monitoring that, stalking me, keeping me under surveillance and my devices without any warrant or probable cause or legitimate interest, immediately uses criminal summoning. That's the city of Ontario that you saw doing that today under the fake sun at the Starbucks at 706 West Holt Boulevard. Sounding sirens, Ontario Fire Department, that's Michael GERKEN. Ontario Police Department, that's Mike LORENZ. While the entity is gang stalking with the Ontario International Airport, that's Alan D. WAPNER. The entities that's engaging in this is doing so while they are blocking evidence regarding what is going to be published to the public, to the world, including the fact that they engaged in this criminal act. Mike LORENZ is going to prison. Understand, this is the evidence that's also putting him away. This is the conduct of what are brutal murderers who are seeking to, and under a delusion, you're not going to conceal any terrorist, and also they're going to prison now. What would be perhaps a federal case, a prosecution as a terrorist, is going to be now prison time, because they act as an entity. No third party whose information is being blocked by the demons that are monitoring on the device, they're not doing so as any innocent bystander. This is the entity's pattern of conduct. If I'm in Pomona, they do the same exact thing regarding any acts of terrorism that are documented at any location. They are one entity. That's why the entity is targeting me with regard to whoever it is that I'm documenting. No brokey that's on welfare is actually concerned in the physical about what Alan D. WAPNER is looking like on my device. However, because they are the same demon-possessed entity, because they are the same corrupt entity, these demons whose rent Alan D. WAPNER is not paying are engaging in terrorizing and harassing me like they did at Woodside Senior Apartments, where Alan D. WAPNER could not care less if these old people don't get their prescriptions, and when they're living on the street outside, because that's what's coming. The entities engage in this because they are one entity of one criminal objective, and they are engaging criminal activity together, just as though you were taking a hammer to my phone because I'm taking a picture of your license plate. It's the same way. While Mike LORENZ is engaging in what is criminal obstruction of justice, monitoring on my device, while these demons are engaged in sexual assault and battery via engineered light, while they're engaged in criminal summoning, while they're engaged in ongoing harassment because they're engaging in what is monitoring evidence, which are speaking to the harms inherent to a government and a population keeping an American citizen under surveillance, an American citizen who is going to document and enforce their constitutional and human rights. Okay? This is P.O.C. This is the entities engaged in that. Remember what I documented this morning. While Omnitrans is not arriving because Omnitrans is a gang stalker, as I capture screenshots of what that bus route is and what should have happened and didn't happen, and as I capture that video, who arrives? Magically. No, it's not magic. It's real-time surveillance. And I want to be clear, it's the same manner. This is what the entity is engaging in, surveillance, and they're doing so with regard to the entity that is on the venue of the internet monitoring, okay? This is P.O.C. This is the entity that's doing so regarding April 2nd. So I want you to see, I'm going to open each one because this is what should be accessible to the public. The ongoing engagement in blocking access. Let me close all of these again. The ongoing engagement in blocking access to evidence is a federal offense. It's a criminal act of obstruction of justice, and it is mandating federal prison. And that is already the case for terrorists like, for example, Hernandez, who's gang stalking at Superior Grocer, where the evidence of Hernandez is being blocked by tampering with my evidence, which is intellectual property. You're getting into what is stealing intellectual property as well. doing so with the intent to obstruct justice, while you're engaged in federal stalking, no warrant or probable cause, in furtherance of murder, while you are already engaging in what is theft of property, oppressing that target individual who is sleeping outside while you're still stalking, and I'm getting video evidence of that on a daily basis. The entity is engaging in this, and that is exposing that terrorist, Jay Hernandez, the subject of said intellectual property. That state actor is also subject to prison. Understand how they're engaging in what is a criminal objective altogether, stealing the evidence, and also doing so with regard to the one that's actually engaging. For example, Ontario police using their sirens and lights, monitoring on my device, in addition to whatever evidence and the subject of that evidence that is being removed, that is being stolen. Okay? That's the entity that is engaging in criminal conduct together. All right? With the same criminal purpose. I want to make sure that that's understood. So April 1st, this is all published information today. The entity is engaging in what is blocking it, and I want to publish this information. The entity is going to be subject to federal prison. This is the criminal activity of Mike LORENZ of the Ontario Police Department, of the City of Ontario. Okay, so it looks like April 1st is accessible still, and it should be. All of it should be. April 2nd. Okay, April 2nd is accessible still. April 2nd, folder 1. Hold on. April 2nd, folder 2. Because this is what I just did, and this is what you're finding here. So this would block your ability to see. This is the entity that's monitoring on my device. Okay, my Google accounts are still open. Didn't change anything. I'm not changing anything. The entity's monitoring on my phone. This is not an error. This is the entity that's engaging in what is seeking to block. And I want to be clear. This is Mike LORENZ. These are these demons who are not magical, who are not brave, who are not courageous, who are not gangsters. All right, you see them stalking me in a helicopter. They're scared to death. They are petrified. That's why they're engaging this. Number one, they're punks. Number two, this is federal prison. They're going to be punks. They're going to be cowards in prison. Okay? So I just want to be clear on that. Let's not be mistaken here. Everybody that's looking at, they're being defiant. They're being, strong. No, they're not. They're punks. They're vagina monitoring cowards who are petrified, sitting around sounding their sirens out of fear. And it is equally a federal offense as well. They're out here engaging in what is slinging light around, harassing while they're demon psychopaths, okay? Absurdly psychotic. Stalking with engineer light, monitoring demons who are scared to death. The living dead who are fearful regarding the truth that I speak, the power of this evidence, because they've been caught and it's over, and they're still engaging in criminal activity. There are consequences, federal ones, for what I'm documenting right now, okay? Just want to be clear, this right here, that's the evidence of a punk. These are punks. They're cowards. They're scared. Satan lost, okay? These are not big, strong men and women of law enforcement. These are cowards, and they lost. They are humiliated, and they are scared to death. And you should be. You're going to prison. You're going to prison. So let's keep looking at this. I just want to make sure that you understand everything that this means. These are cowards. This is what's out here murdering people. You're not gang stalking people because you're strong. You're not gang stalking people because you're competent. You're gang stalking people because you're a punk, because you're insecure, because you're psychotic, because you hate your own self in your life. You hate your own pores. You hate your hair follicles. You hate your cuticles. You hate your eyeball sockets. You hate everything about yourself. That's why you're gang stalking other people. That's why you're all in between their legs monitoring their genitalia. That's why you're out stalking in the middle of the night in a whole helicopter, in planes, showing the world how deranged you are and how much you need that 23-hour lockdown. That's why you're doing that. And that's why they're targeting this evidence, because that's how potent it is. That's how potent it is. All right, this is the entity that's engaging. These are losers. These are losers. This is a campaign regarding the exposure of Satan, who is a loser, and everybody that was deceived and tricked and bamboozled into following him. You're losers. And that's the truth. You're losers. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. I'm having to go through this evidence because you're scared about me getting evidence, but you're supposed to be the OG, triple OG triples, right? Gang stalking me into a psychiatric coma? I don't think so. You're going to prison. And it's pathetic. Everybody is laughing at you while you're headed there. Everybody's laughing at you while I'm making a spectacle of you even being scared of my evidence. This is how pathetic you are. While you're sitting up worshiping my vagina, searching for used tampons in the trash can. You're pathetic. This is the P.O.C. This is the reality of the demon-possessed, okay? In real life, only in the demons that make these Hollywood movies, those are demons. Only in real life, Satan does not win. He does not. That's the truth. He is a deceiver. He bamboozles you. He hustles you. He bullies you. He tricks you. He is a loser. I'm showing you all of the tricks that he engages in. He's a punk, and he knows that I know that. And that's why I'm the one telling you the truth. And I'm not going to mince my words. Satan is a coward. He is a punk. He gets away with what he thinks he can get away with. And he's a spirit, and he's using these cowards in California, and I'm dragging them. I'm dragging them by the skin of their foreheads. And they're going to prison. All right, this is P.O.C. This is pathetic. You can hear it through the tone of my voice. This is pathetic. They can't even take their loss as men and women. That's because they're not. They're demons. They're creatures. They're roaches. That's why. That's why they're engaged in this. Is pathetic. And it's not going to work. It's not going to work. But I'm going to document this because this is my job. I'm prosecuting you. And I'm also exposing in my prosecution how much Satan is unworthy to listen to. He's a liar. Give your life to Christ Jesus today. He's the winner. He's the champion. And Satan has done everything to deceive that, and he is controlling this world, the prince of the air, to make it look like anything other than that. He is a loser. He's dragging people to hell every single day. I'm sitting out here winning. There is no helicopter activity that's going to change that. You can't silence that. And it speaks volumes while you're out here scared of my evidence. It's pathetic. It is pathetic. It is so pathetic. You get no respect from me. None whatsoever. This is P.O.C. I'm going to keep on opening these folders because this is the entity. I just want to be clear. The U.S. government is going down. This is the beast system. This is the end of any secrecy regarding that. And you're witnessing what is the ongoing loss of everything that this entity has stolen. They're going to run me all of my money, and they are going into poorhouses. They're going to prison. They're going to mental institutions. They're literally going to be outside. I'm not playing. They're going to be living outside. And not only that, they're going to be placed into that circumstance that the government is not going to help them because they will be noted and documented and, documented with regard to what is being convicted, identified as a matter of public record. Terrorists. You're not getting any government assistance anywhere. Nobody's helping you pay rent. Nobody's going to help you buy Tylenol. You're not getting help, assistance with anything as a terrorist. They will be outside and they're going to stay outside. This is P.O.C. Messing with my evidence, it's too late. What you should have did is stop targeting years ago. Targeting my evidence is getting you more time in prison. And it's showing how much of a coward you are. Sitting up stalking me with your back to me under a fake sun, showing how psychotic you are. You and your demon-possessed children, you bring your whole family to target me. It's pathetic. It is so pathetic. And then you want to run from the evidence about it. And have the audacity to run your mouth in public. Have an attitude because you can't monitor my vagina in secret. This is the type of psychosis that I'm confronted with. And it's all the same spirit of Satan. Satan, who is a loser and cannot stand the fact that I speak that without any hesitation because it's the truth. It is the truth. And tampering with the government, the federal government that's going to prosecute you, you will regret that. You will regret it. This is P.O.C. These gang members of the Ontario Police Department, they have no career. They have no future in law enforcement. It is over. It is entirely over. They will not be securing toy stores. They won't even be able to sweep up the bathroom at a police station. I'm making sure that they're done with law enforcement. You're not going anywhere ever bearing a weapon, having anything to do with law enforcement. You will forever be linked to gang stalking Erica Spencer. You want to monitor me? You're going to remember me for the rest of your life. You're going to remember me. All right, this is the entity that's gang stalking. Let me go ahead and open these. I'm going to open up the rest of these folders because I want you to see, all the folders, all the ways in which that it's blocked. This is obstruction of justice. And this is, again, the government that's engaging in criminal surveillance, gang stalking, is doing so on your devices, doing so on the internet, doing so also physically in my path. This is the stalking by helicopter, the stalking by criminal summoning while in relevant position to me while I'm using my device, putting information on the internet where the government has no authority under the law to engage in surveilling me in that manner. This is how you're getting to all the ways in which the government is then lying, such as the March 2nd, 2026 lie regarding being in the bathroom and capturing what would have to be something pornographic, something sexually perverted, which is not the case, but OVITT Family Community Library, nonetheless, that is gang stalking, engaging in surveillance, in fact, is lying. And on March 3rd, I'm given a written admission, because that's how it's going to be used in court, regarding what is an unlawful and invalid and malicious assertion regarding why I've been removed from that venue without even any confrontation. Nobody said anything because nothing happened, number one. But number two, they're engaging in surveillance, and then they're referring to my evidence, which they have no interest in. You don't. It's freedom of speech, number one. And number two, it's the government that is being documented for vagina monitoring. And this is the evidence that they are, in fact, engaged in vagina monitoring. Surveillance on my devices. Surveillance on the internet. While these poor liars want to talk about, oh, and then we discovered on February 25th, it was brought to our attention after March 2nd, when nothing happened on March 2nd. Nothing happened with regard to my documentation at OVITT Family Community Library, that is. But the entity is engaging in surveillance. The entity that's engaged in surveillance, which is very much petrified by the level of evidence, proof that I have, and expelling me from that venue, again, like removing my evidence off the internet, again, is going to expose you to more time in prison. That's the only way. You are not getting out of anything. You only make it worse on yourself. And it shows how pathetic they are. This is P.O.C, and that's what's relevant with regard to every lie that is uttered by an entity of stalkers. This is the entity that is full of a bunch of incompetent, inferior demons that are engaging in criminal activity that they cannot hide. They're not sharp enough to hide anything. They can't hide anything. They're out here gang stalking, pacing back and forth. That's what this is. Pacing back and forth. A demon at the square in engineer light, pacing back and forth like a psychopath that's monitoring somebody with multiple shadows. Okay, this is pathetic. This is the entity. You need to know what demons are and what they're engaging in California. Don't invite this person over to around your kids. Don't invite people like this to your home. Don't have them around people that you care about. They're vagina monitoring sex offenders, gang stalking in California, and they are not going to openly advertise that to you. That's another reason why I expose the demon possessed. Okay, this is P.O.C. out here stalking a woman. That is a threat to you, and it's something that you need to know about. All right, that's what's gang stalking me with the Ontario Police Department. This is what is engaging in what is monitoring. They want to gang stalk and then they want to block that evidence at the same time. That's a co-conspirator of murder. That's a coward. That's a sex offender that doesn't want to be exposed. That's a threat to national security. It's a population of them. And they are the Nephilim. This is the beast system. This is state surveillance. All right, this is that P.O.C. This is the entity that's engaging in that. This is the entity that is blocking these accounts. So I wanted to get that on video. Throughout the course of my video, I'm going to go ahead and show you. I've already captured this before. But right here where I'm sitting at the Ontario Town Square, Ontario Police Department stalking by helicopter right here. All right, they did so silently. I don't have to capture video. Everybody already knows I've got hundreds of videos on a daily, nightly basis. They're stalking, and they're stalking right now while I'm announcing to everybody what you already know. Because you are nothing but a punk stalking a woman and climbing in a helicopter to make you feel like you're doing something. And you're still not doing anything. I'm still embarrassing you on the internet. And you're too slow to realize that that's not a good tactic anymore, because it certainly isn't stopping that prosecution. But this is the entity that's doing that. I want to document that. It is currently, like you can see, it's 12:07 a.m. This is the entity that's monitoring, keeping my website under surveillance, keeping my platforms under surveillance. And they're doing so with regard to criminal activity, which I have documented before, obstruction of justice. It's not protecting Tracy Banks. It's not protecting Jason Fields. It's not protecting Mike Lorenz. It's not protecting Sean Thrasher. It's not protecting the kidnappers at the Upland Public Library of the Upland Police Department. It's not protecting those that are engaging in criminal summoning at the Fontana Lewis Library. It's not protecting the gang stalkers in Pomona, California. It's not protecting those that I've documented. If you engage in the criminal pattern of conduct, which I documented, and as the rules go, you're going to prison, guess what? You're going to prison. While you engage in acts of obstruction like this, all you're doing is confirming that you are indeed that criminal that the P.O.C. shows you to be. Proving that surveillance is underway. Not that I needed some unintelligent vagina monitor to aid in that, to corroborate that. I did that on my own. But while they engage in these tactics, this is confirmation for you who are witnessing, the demon-possessed who are fearful of one person. That's why they're all gang stalking. It's not because you're inferior. It's not because you're a fool. It's not because you're some black sheep. It's because you are the one that is called by the Lord God. You are the one who is, what they don't want to admit, superior. Because you don't cave into the pressure of Satan, who is a liar. They're all fearful. They're all inferior. They're all followers. And they're following to the pit of hell. That's where they're going. Where losers go, that's where they are going. This is P.O.C. Ontario police are stalking. They are stalking on the roads and the highways, engaging in criminal summoning. Criminal summoning is an act within surveillance. All right, they're engaged in what is tracking the steps of American citizens, tracking them when they engage in using their lights and sirens. It's within a surveillance system. LAPD is engaging in surveillance when they turn on their lights and sirens. And then they run over somebody in the middle of the street. It is not an act where they're unaware of who's in the street and who's where. It's the exact opposite. Criminal summoning, as the Ontario Police Department have shown you, as the City of Upland have shown you, the criminal summoning where they're using their lights and their sirens is an act of surveillance where they're tracking. They're literally engaging it based on their knowledge real time of what you're doing, where you're at, how you're doing it, what you're saying. All right, everything pertaining to you. Alrighty, this is P.O.C. This is relevant to federal stalking on the video of the internet. The entity engaging in this, Google is a third party. This is relevant to the prosecution of the entity that is on the video of the internet engaging in surveillance. This is relevant to tampering with the real-time investigation. And this is relevant to the entity that lied in court regarding my character. This is showing the character of that entity that's engaged in what is lying on me, lying on my character, stealing my money, kidnapping me, accusing me of crimes that, again, I did not commit, while they're lying about my character as to why they should have my money, why they are able to entertain a court case, court hearings in my absence. All of this that they're doing, that I'm showing you regarding evidence on the internet, is revealing the character of this entity altogether. The people of the state stealing my money, having access to my money, knowledge of it, while they are liars, trying to cover up criminal activity, trying to cover up and conceal their identity. This is relevant, this is probative regarding their character. It's relevant in every regard. These are thieves, they're demons, these are murderers, they're thieves, and they're violent sex offenders. They're sex traffickers, they're pedophiles, okay? They're money launderers. These are the lowest of the low that are gang stalking. This is P.O.C. It is currently 12:11 a.m. on Sunday, April 5th, 2026.